So it's funny enough, I was debating between Ohio State and Wisconsin, but while I was looking at,
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the D. Today, we have a very special guest with us today, one of NWSL Kansas City's newest players, Victoria Pickett. Victoria, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So at what age did you realize you were good enough to play in college or even go pro?
Oh gosh. When I first started, I'd probably say 15 years old. That was when my club team back in Canada, Glen Shields, we decided to go down south and play in a bunch of college ID tournaments and everything in the US. And from there, that's when I started getting some emails from college coaches. And I never really actually thought about it before. I never thought like going to school in the US was an idea for me or a possibility. But yeah, then after getting some emails, I was like, okay, maybe like I can actually do this. So in terms of college looks, I guess it was around 15 and everything. And then going pro was probably, it's always been a dream of mine ever since I was little. So to have that dream become a reality is so unreal. But I think I really like realized it in college with UW-Madison and my coaches there really pushing for me and just like really believing in my potential. And now here we are. So yeah.
There you are. So for the college process, why did you end up choosing Wisconsin?
Yeah, funny enough, I was looking mostly at Big Ten schools. I still wanted to stay relatively close to home. So I didn't want to go down south. I can't play in the heat. Like it's just too much for me. Out west seemed a little too far. So it's funny enough, I was debating between Ohio State and Wisconsin, but while I was looking at, I heard a little sigh. But yeah, I was visiting Purdue, and because had visited a few colleges at that point, I was like, I'm just gonna go to Ohio State. I'm missing a lot of high school already, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. But my dad was really pushing for Wisconsin. He's like, we just gotta visit. If you don't like it, like this can be our last school, but like you have to visit. So I was like, oh my god, I was like really dragging my feet about it. But as soon as I got there, I'm like, oh shoot, like this is the place. Like it felt like a second home for me. The girls, when I first met them, were really, really sweet. Really like the coaches instantly. And funny enough, the goalkeeper coach and assistant coach Tim Rosenfeld is the nephew of my coach back at home. So I also had that connection. But the campus was amazing. Like sports and academics were like huge. So I felt like I was just getting the best of both worlds. So it was pretty cool. Which I gotta say, I like your hockey jerseys in the background.
Yep, thank you. Got to celebrate championship.
Yeah, that's big for us. So I was happy for him.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden and I are huge Wisconsin fans. Like my whole family went there. Like we're from Wisconsin, so it's nice
amazing
to hear that you chose Wisconsin over Ohio State. But talking about sports and academics, what was it like going through college and having to balance playing soccer while also having to do school and all of college?
Yeah, well, with the spring season, with the fall season being the soccer season, you're kind of just like thrown right into like performing well academically and athletically. And as a freshman, I definitely didn't know how to handle it. Not that in high school I like slacked off, but there is a difference with like the Canadian education system and then the US education system. Like for one, if you want to get an A, it has to be 92% or higher, 93% or higher. Whereas back at home, it's like 80%. So I was like, oh, I really need to like bump up my academic game. But it was relatively, so it was pretty hard at first because you're being thrown into it. But the process was smooth because we had such great academic advisors. The girls on my team were also very helpful with offering their own insight as to what classes you should take. And there's just a lot of resources that if I had any questions regarding academics, that it was handled pretty smoothly. So yeah, it was a good experience academically.
80% for an A back in Canada. I should have.
At least in high school. I don't know what it's like in university, but in high school, yeah, I was like, okay, this is good.
I needed to know that before I started high school. That would have been great information. This is a bit of a vague question, but do you have a favorite memory with the Badgers team?
Ooh, favorite memory? Okay, soccer wise, I probably have to say there's too many, but one of them was probably beating Michigan my freshman year. We were down 2-0 at half, and then out of nowhere we scored 3 goals like in the second half. So that was super fun. Just because I don't like Michigan, but it's nice to win, obviously. But that was big, and also like the game against Hofstra in the NCAA tournament was huge. Yeah, winning the big. I wasn't playing obviously last year, but like winning the Big Ten title outright was really awesome. Like being on the sideline was different, but it was still exciting being there and everything. So yeah, got a few. I've got a few though.
Nice.
It must have also been amazing. In 2015, you won the Big Ten Freshman of the Year award. I mean, that must be incredible since you were just new to the college scene and you were just starting up your college career, and right away you're awarded basically the best freshman in the entire Big Ten.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a huge honor. Can definitely say that I wouldn't have gone it without my teammates and the coaching staff as well. Like, what's so great about the environment at Wisconsin was that practice was taken very seriously and that everyone was committed to this one similar goal. So it was nice that everyone pushed one another in practice, and that obviously was reflected on the pitch. So I'm really happy that my teammates were able to help support me get that award and everything. And of course, the coaches knew what they were doing. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I was not expecting it. But yeah, no, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I want to ask a question about your game. So your coach at UW, Paula Wilkins, she described your pace and speed as some of your most important qualities. 6 years later, what would you say is your most important quality now?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing. I've always been a quicker player, I guess. I love to dribble. One of my favorite players is Messi, so like, I really looked up to him and Ronaldinho when I was growing up, and I wanted to like be able to do those moves. Technically, I'm still not there yet, but yeah, I'm definitely like quicker. So I'd probably say that's mostly my sort of game skill, I guess. So.
And she just was it? How many wins did she just pass on for Wisconsin?
Yeah, 150, I think.
150. Amazing, amazing. How long has she been the coach there?
She's been there for a while now. So she was at Penn State beforehand. Then she moved to Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, I don't know the year, but it was a few years before I got there. So maybe like 2010? Question mark.
Maybe.
I should probably know this as she is one of my favorite people, but but yeah, sometime around then.
Gotcha. Okay, because I remember you posted something on your story about that, and I was interested because I was just doing research on your coach Paula Wilkins, and I saw that. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I didn't know she was there for that long enough to get 150 wins. That's amazing.
Huge milestone.
Absolutely. So you said you didn't play last year. That was because of your injury, right?
Yes. So in April of 2019, I got tackled in a spring game where I tore my ACL, MCL, MPFL, my lateral meniscus, my PCL. I dislocated the knee and I got a bone impact fracture. So yes, it prevented me from playing for a good while. And then obviously, so I missed out on the 2019 season, but I also missed out on the 2020 season because of COVID. So I never actually got to play my my senior year.
A lot of the senior years canceled because of COVID. It's so unfortunate.
I know, it's super sad. I feel for everyone. It's a shame, but
Well, what we kind of touched on the injury. What was it like, the process of having to come back from one of those injuries? Did you ever have doubts that, you didn't want to play soccer anymore? You thought that you were done with it, or did you know the entire time that you wanted to make a comeback?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to make the comeback. It was just a matter of whether I'd be able to get back to where I was before. Like I ended the 2018 season off on a high, thanks to my teammates and coaches. Um, and I was, in the 2019 season, I was predicted to go, first round for the NWSL draft and all this. And I was just thinking, like, I don't know if I can get back to that. Like, I just kept thinking, this is such a major injury but I really haven't heard many people like get back from it completely, and especially because it wasn't just the typical. Which I'm not saying doing just the ACL isn't bad; it's terrible. But just because I did 4 other ligaments, I was like, I feel like I'm just further behind. So yeah, definitely know I wanted to make the comeback. It was just a matter of how and if I'd actually be able to be where I once was, type of deal.
And it was your left knee, right?
Yes, yeah, left knee. So it wasn't my kicking leg, which is good, I guess. But yeah, is the left knee.
Because I saw on your Instagram you had like the knee brace on your left, and because I had a torn ACL around the same time as you on the left knee as well. Obviously, I wasn't playing at college level; I was playing JV high school, but
No, it still sucks regardless.
right. So I wanted to ask, how do you feel physically and mentally when it's been almost 2 years since the injury?
Yeah, mentally mentally I'm better on the field. Um and like I'm not scared to get into tackles or anything, which is really important because obviously if you hesitate there's a greater chance of getting hurt. But mentally I'm still doing a lot of self-doubting. Like I truly did not think I was going to get drafted just because I'm like, what coach would want to draft someone who has not played a game in basically 2 years? So there's a lot of self-doubt about my own potential, but with the help of the coaches and my teammates here at KC, and even when I was at Wisconsin, it was still the same support and everything. But yeah, I just didn't think like maybe I'm still not at my potential. So mentally, I'm still trying to realize that I am good enough to be in this league and that I deserve to be here. So mentally, I'm still trying to fully believe in that. But so that's the mental aspect of it. But sorry, did you also say physically?
And physically, either one, yeah, physically or mentally. But
Yeah, physically I feel good. I definitely have to do like a lot more recovering. I find if I don't stretch in the morning, if I don't stretch at night, my knee will get really tight. So it's doing little things that I wasn't doing beforehand, that I need to be way more cognizant of. Um, so it's not bad. It's not holding me back or anything, but I'm definitely doing more recovering. Um, and everything. So, which is funny because I definitely took for granted like my body's abilities to recover quickly. And now when I even warm up, I'm like, I have to warm up properly. I can't just like do a couple jogs back and forth and be like, I'm good to go, right? So it's little things that I'm like, wow, I really was not, I guess, taking care of my body properly before the injury.
and it's you don't really think about that before you have a big injury like that, and even after you have that injury, all you want to do is just get back on that field. So it's hard to like go day by day and take it slowly because you just want to get out there as soon as possible. But
Mm-hmm.
it's paid off for you. I mean, you finally got drafted, so congratulations on
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Well, talking a little bit about getting drafted, what was that feeling like hearing your voice, or hearing your voice saying that you were going to be a member of Kansas City's team, and that you finally got drafted? What did that feel like?
So surreal. Like I said, I truly did not think I was going to get drafted. Like I said, because of the injury and the time off. But yeah, previous girlfriends that have been drafted before have told me like, oh, you usually get a call before you get picked, and then you hear your name, and then the surprise is kind of ruined, I guess. But so I was expecting this call, and I was just waiting throughout the draft, and the first round took a while. It took like 2.5 hours. So I was like, wow, this is going to be a long night. But yeah, then all of a sudden, the commissioner came on, and Kansas, when she said Kansas City selects Victoria Pickett, my whole family was with me, and we were all just freaking out because I was not expecting it. And we were all just like yelling and screaming, and my mom and I were crying. So it was super surreal. And I'm really thankful for this opportunity. So yeah.
Amazing. That's got to be the greatest feeling in the world, especially with your family there as well.
Oh, absolutely. It was nice to share that moment with them. So.
Do you have any siblings that play sports?
I have two older brothers that were really into hockey, and we're both really good at it. Being Canadian and all, no, okay. And then my younger sister also played soccer, and she did a little bit of basketball as well. But I guess no one's taken it to the next level or anything. Like I think I was just like the most passionate about sports. So, but they were also very good athletes.
Of course. So you were the first one in your family to play soccer, right?
Older brothers played soccer as well when they were younger. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. But so they played, and I just wanted to play because I kind of wanted to copy my sibling, my brother specifically. But then they stopped. But I just kept going after I was like 4. So I've been playing since I was like 4 years old.
Wow, very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, but something that's even more amazing is being able to represent your country. I know you've represented Canada before. That must be, I mean, incredible to be able to represent your entire country, not just playing for Wisconsin or for Kansas City, but the entire country of Canada. Is that something that like meant a lot to you, that when you were a little girl, like playing soccer, that you said like, one day I want to be able to represent Canada?
Yeah, absolutely. Playing for Canada has always been a dream of mine ever since I was little. So yeah, it's always a huge honor to be able to represent the greatest country in the world. But no, so it was really cool to be able to like play along some incredible talent, incredible coaches, and to explore some incredible countries as well while playing the sport that I love. So yeah, it's a huge honor, but yeah, my first senior call up was just a few weeks ago, which was super cool. I was only there as a training player, but so cool to learn from some of the more veteran players and everything, like Desi Scott, who's actually on the Kansas City team as well, and being able to meet her. And it's crazy because it's like I looked up to you when I was younger, and now you're my teammate. Like I'm playing alongside you. Like such a cool dream to have achieved, and hopefully continue doing that, and doing that for girls below me, that I hope one day I could be that person for them. So yeah, super cool though.
Do you remember your first youth call up?
Yeah, first youth call up was with Brian Roosevelt, who was my coach, who's also the Team Ontario coach. And then he was also the U17 Canada coach. So that was my first time. I was 15. And we went to Florida, and then from Florida, we went to Trinidad and Tobago. So yeah, it was a very cool first time experience. And again, to play for your country is a huge honor. So it was really neat.
So you've traveled all around the world with Team Canada, basically. What's your favorite place that you've been to with the team?
Hard to say because there have been so many cool places I've been to. I really liked Australia. Papua New Guinea was really neat for the U20 World Cup. Um, Trinidad and Tobago was really neat. Azerbaijan was really cool. I can't say I have a favorite because they all bring some sort, the cultural differences are so diverse and everything. So I don't know if I can say I have a favorite, but I've been to some pretty cool places, so I'm appreciative of being able to explore that.
Amazing.
Mm.
I read that you play kind of like you play as a defender for Canada, but when you're at Wisconsin, you played more as a midfielder. What was that like transition like, where when you're playing with Canada, you had to play in the defense, but when you're playing with Wisconsin or now Kansas City, you have to play in the midfield? Is it hard to have to go back and forth?
Uh, Honestly, yes. It kind of can be pretty hard. Just because I find I'm the best in the midfield. Like I find my personal game is the best when I'm in the mid. I feel like I just have more control of it. I like getting on the ball. I like being able to distribute a lot. And then when I'm defending, specifically fullback, you're more or less like stuck on the line, and I'm not good down the line. Like I just don't know what to do for some reason. Like I just kind of get all flustered, I guess. So it can be hard to transition because it's like I have that midfield mentality, but I'm as a fullback. So it's definitely like different to adjust, and especially with this senior call up, they had me as like wide forward, which I haven't played in like 6 years, and then fullback, which I also haven't played in like about 5 years. So it was definitely tough to like switch that mentality after having been a center mid for so long. But it was nice because the coaches sat me down and they talked the role through with me. So I'm still learning. But yeah, it's definitely an adjustment, but whatever it takes type of deal. Like I'm more than willing to do it.
Anything to play for Canada, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'll be the water girl if that means I can like somehow be on the bench with you guys, So
It's all about experience because, in a few years you could be playing regularly for Canada. So you never know. What is your
exactly.
main goal with the national team for the future?
Yeah, so ever since I was little is to be on the team. But now that I'm, of age, I guess, it's to be hopefully a starter. And then also to get to the Olympics, get to the Women's World Cup. Those are probably my more recent or more nearsighted goals. So yeah.
So this might be an easy question for you. Would you rather win the NWSL championship with Kansas City or win the World Cup with Canada?
Yeah, I'd have to say the Canadian winning it with the Canadian national team, but I will say it would probably be just as sweet to win it with Kansas City, the NWSL title and everything. So hoping to do that this year.
Yeah, both maybe. You can World Cup in a couple of years and Kansas City NWSL maybe.
Yes, fingers are crossed.
Let's hope.
Talking more about Kansas City, what's it been like, starting your career there, playing professionally in the women's league, and like how's that transition been from college to professional?
Yeah, well, it's funny. So for the first day I got into the apartments that they have us in, like I opened up the door and I was like, I gotta make the team. Like we're in some pretty nice apartments, so so the transition to Kansas City has been great. They've been taking really good care of us, the owners, the staff, and everything. And it was nice listening to the coaches. We obviously aren't able to meet in person like the first week because everyone's coming from different locations, and then obviously with COVID, so we did a Zoom meeting. But it was really nice that Coach Williams was saying how the focus is very player oriented. Like we're here for the players. We'll make sure that we do everything in our power to make sure you guys are at your best game while loving where you are. So that was really nice to hear that and comforting. And then the girls here, because obviously they came from Utah, it's like more or less the same core. And they've been so welcoming. They've been just so great. And it was really nice to get to know them a little bit more in Florida, just off the field as well. So that was great. So super supportive, super sweet, super welcoming. And then, sorry, what was your second question?
No, it was just like the transition.
Oh, with college. Yeah. Obviously, everyone on the soccer team back at Wisconsin, very like we all wanted, more or less the same thing when it came to soccer. Like we want to win a Big Ten championship. We want to get to at least the Sweet 16, all this. So that was nice. But there are also other factors that, external factors that people were interested in. So like, living the college life, going to parties, being able to go to sports games and everything. Whereas here I find it's much more like soccer is life, which I love because soccer for me has been my life. So it's nice having that common trait amongst everyone. But yeah, it's been good.
Soccer is life for you now as a professional. So what are you going to miss most about the college life?
Yeah, the college life. I love Wisconsin, and obviously like huge sports school, um, and a relatively big party school. So I'll probably miss going to parties with my teammates. Like it was always such a good time. We always had a blast going out. So that'll probably be the most the thing that I miss most.
Got it. So when you were at Wisconsin, did you feel like you set an example for some of the younger players?
I hope I did. Yeah, because I had some nice role models to look up to myself, like Rose Lavelle, Kinley McNichol, McKenna Moyer, and everything. So it's like if I just want to be what they were for me, and then do that for the girls coming in, the freshmen coming in, and all that. So I hope I did. Yeah, that's basically, that's basically it. I think I showed my leadership on the field mostly, kind of by doing it, like through my actions and whatnot. That oh, Victoria hustled for that ball, like I'm gonna do the same. So I hope it was more so my actions that pushed those girls and everything.
Are there any previous Wisconsin players on the Kansas City team? Players?
No, no, there's not. Just me. But there are Danny Rhodes and Cameron Bogalski are with Chicago Red Stars right now, and they graduated in 2019 or 2020, I guess. But yeah.
Got it.
You mentioned this a little earlier when you said like the first week that you were with Kansas City, it was all Zoom meetings where you had to meet the team. What's it been like your first season as a pro? You have to deal with COVID and you have to deal with like the Zoom meetings and not being able to not being able to like play with fans and a full crowd and having to take all the protocol when you're practicing. What's it been like going through that?
It's been relatively smooth, I think, because they're so organized here that even before we got to meet each other in person, that we already had the outline set. So, and it was relatively like the same as Wisconsin or just how colleges are dealing with COVID. So it's like when you show up, you have the masks, don't really hang around. If you're getting treatment, like make sure you tell the athletic trainer, and then so it's been relatively smooth. Obviously, it sucks. I'd love to be able to play in more of a normal setting, and get to go to some of the girls' place, without fear of are we breaking the rules or anything like that. So it's definitely been different, but I guess I've been accustomed to it because we've been in, I guess, the pandemic for almost a year now. um, so yeah, it sucks, but I think we're handling it really well here, at least.
And is the anticipation building up to start that season?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm like super excited. And usually the preseason isn't this long. So having it even longer, you're just like you said, the anticipation is just like really building up. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. So I'm just looking forward to actually playing in a game again. That's why like my first game real game I played was in Florida, which, almost 2 years. So it's like, wow, it's been a while, but
Oh,
it was
wow.
good. It's been good.
You're almost there, though. It has been a while, but you're almost there. Um, so this is a new team in the NWSL. I guess they had a Kansas City team a few years ago. This is a newly founded one. What expectations do you guys have as a club for technically the inaugural season?
Yeah, so the saying right now that we set is we play for KC. So like the biggest thing is playing for the city. It's a huge soccer city, huge sports town. So I think, and with the success of the old Kansas City team, being able to replicate that again. So a big one is just playing for the city, playing for the people, and then obviously trying to win the NWSL Challenge Cup, and then also the regular season title. So we've set some high bars, but I think with the coaching staff that we have and the players that we have here as well, like it's definitely a foreseeable goal and an attainable goal for us.
And you said you're going to be playing as a midfielder for Kansas City. Do you know, I mean, what side do you prefer? Are you right or left or center?
Yeah, we'll I think mostly be playing a 4-3-3, so I'll probably be on the right side of the midfield. So the 8 or 10, depending on how you see it, I guess. But yeah, so we'll see.
Is the is the 10 like your best position, you would say? Is that where you're able to show like your best talent?
Yeah, I'd say I like the 8 the most probably just because you can go box to box. It's definitely different for me as well though because being in a 4-3-3 system, like I haven't even like last time I played that was years ago. So it's definitely different. But yeah, being a 10, I feel like I can't really like I'm not good at turning. I like having the ball played back to me and then I can go forward where I can see everything. I'm not the best, like I said, with pressure on my back. So it's definitely something I need to learn. But um, yeah, I'd probably say the 8 though.
So would you be able to compare yourself to a pro right now?
Oh, no. No, I don't know. No, like no, I don't know. I think like I'm my own player. Like I'm my own self, obviously. And I hope to be that. Um I'd love to take aspects of other people's games and everything and implement it to my own, but I also just want to be known as like Victoria Pickett. You know, like that's like she's unique, and this is what makes her stand out and everything. So, yeah, I don't know if I can compare myself right now, just because, yeah, just don't know.
Well, that's the best thing. You're your own player. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be like anyone else. You want to be your own player. So it's nice that you
Exactly.
have that outlook.
Hmm.
Well, besides comparing yourself to other players, is there players? I know you talked a little bit about like Messi and Ronaldinho earlier, but were there players or are there players now that you get a lot of inspiration from that you say like, oh, like I want to play kind of like them, or I want to act kind of like them on the field?
Yeah, I love Man City. So I love. Oh no, no.
Chelsea.
Okay.
Come on.
We could talk about that more later.
Okay.
But I love Mahrez. I think he is incredible. KDB is so good. David Silva. I'm literally naming just all the City players. But I really like them. Just their game is incredible. And now he's gone. But my favorite player, one of my favorite players is Vincent Kompany. Even though he's a center back, I just loved the way he like was able to command the field. His leadership really showed. So he's definitely someone I look up to. So that I'm trying to add that to my own style, like a little bit more calm, more possession oriented and everything. So yeah, those are at least my City players.
So Man City, obviously first in the league right now.
I
They've been
know we had a tough game today. We had a tough game
tough
today.
game. It's as a Chelsea fan, I'm kind of neutral because it doesn't really affect us that much. But Man City's been struggling with penalty kicks this year in the league. So that's one negative. But you haven't struggled with penalty kicks in your past. You remember that one night in Honduras against Mexico. Can you still remember that in your mind when you scored that winning penalty?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like a video of it, but you can kind of see like my shock at first. Like when it went in, I was like, okay, like I guess we're going through to the final then. And that goal helped us get to the U20 World Cup and all that. But our keeper also made like some incredible saves that also boosted us. But yeah, it was such an unreal feeling. And it was so cool when I turned around and all my teammates were just like rushing for me. And I remember like just crying because I was so happy. And it's not technically a goal, but it's like my first goal for Canada as well. So it's such a surreal feeling. And I remember being in the locker room, like still crying about it. I was just so happy. But yeah, it was really cool to know that I helped the team in some way.
You need to show that video to your coach so that you penalties next year. Get some goals on the score sheet there.
Just show them that and be like,
Yeah, just show them that. Oh, you'll take every single penalty this season, 100%.
yeah. Too good.
So for Team Canada, you said that you were called up as a training player. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I was a late addition. So I got called in. I wasn't expecting it whatsoever. But I think because Coach Williams here at KC, he told Bev Priestman, the head coach of Canada, that Victoria's doing well. Like, yeah, I think if you need someone, like you can definitely bring her in. So I got the call, and then 2 days later, I was on my way to Florida with them. And going in, I wasn't exactly sure as to what my role was, just because it was such a brief phone call. It was basically like, "Are you available?" "Yes." "Okay, cool. We're gonna get you a flight." So it was super quick like that. Um, but yeah, going in, I saw some people I haven't seen in years, and one of them was Bianca St. George. But and I was like, "Oh, like, what's new with you? Like, it's so nice to see you again." And she's like, "Yeah, like, I just tore my meniscus. Like, I'm going home." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, I felt so sad for her, but then I realized, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm kind of coming in for you." Which, it doesn't make the experience any less, uh, it doesn't make it lesser value just because I'm replacing someone. It was still really cool to be there regardless, and to know that I'm on the radar and everything. So super neat. But yeah, the transition was really easy as well, just because I knew most of the girls there. I've played with most of them, friends with most of them. So it was really nice to see some friendly faces. And obviously getting to know some of the more veteran players as well. Like I said, Desi Scott and everything, and Alicia Chapman. It was pretty cool to like chat with them casually and everything. So yeah, and then the coaches were great as well, telling me what they wanted from me in the position. So yeah, it's great.
How has it been, learning from the veteran players and learning from players who have been doing this their entire life, and you kind of just getting started in your career? How's that?
Yeah, it's definitely like not intimidating, because they really are there to support you, and I feel like deep down they really want you to play your best, because by playing your best, you're helping the team, and by helping the team, we're winning and everything. um but it's definitely like, I just don't want to let these people down. Like, these people have been here for some time, and I just want to make sure that their experience is good. So it's very much so, like, I just want to help them, and I just want to make them feel proud, I guess. It sounds kind of weird, I guess, but
Makes sense.
it is. But it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. It does.
Okay, cool.
So I have one final question for you. What advice would you give to young girls who dream of going along the same journey that you did, playing in college and then turning pro?
Yeah, I think my journey was just different, obviously, with my injury and everything. So I think a big one for me, for little girls that are wanting to do this, just to go follow your dreams, like, commit to it, and commit to it fully. Don't half-ass anything. Maybe not say half-ass to little girls, but but give it your all to everything. Um, and just like believing in yourself. Like I said, I shouldn't be self-doubting myself right now or anymore, but it's still there sometimes. So just believing in yourself and knowing that you are capable of reaching your full potential and everything.
Well, Victoria, Kansas City NWSL has just gained a couple more fans. So we
No,
can't wait for you to get started. I'm sure you can't wait either. But thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it.
no, thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. I appreciate it a lot.
Guys, if you want to check out the NWSL this season, the Challenge Cup begins on April 9th and the regular season on May 15th. So keep an eye out for Victoria and Kansas City. But that does it for this episode of Inside the D. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.